Hello everyone, welcome back to Longarming by Jaclyn. For this Top 5 Friday, we're taking a short break from joy sewing. If you're doing joy sewing, do not worry, it will be back. You can be working on the videos from the series that you've already seen and just making more blocks. But today we are making a memory quilt, and well, I would call this more of a snapshot quilt. So typically when people say memory quilts, they're talking about a person who has passed away, and a snapshot quilt is basically the same thing, but it's a snapshot of a time in a living person's life. So this young lady is graduating from high school, and so it's capturing her life up to graduation. This is another series for new customers. If you are interested in having a t-shirt quilt made, what do? So first you find someone local or someone who quilts locally or by mail to make the quilt for you. This is for non-sewists, and gather up the t-shirts that you want included, and it can be different types of clothing. This one happens to be mostly t-shirts, but it can be pants, shirts, blouses, any sort of garment or piece of fabric from the person's life will work. And this is my top 5 things I would like you to know when you'd like to have a t-shirt quilt made or a snapshot quilt made. But the main point is, when you find that person who's going to do that work for you, I would contact them and ask them these questions before you do anything. So stop, put down the scissors. All right, so first thing is you will want to have an idea of either your budget or the size that you want. And that's going to impact the design decisions that they make, and that will be a good place to start the conversation. So have an idea of what you're looking for. It does not hurt to flip through the internet and get some reference pictures of, I like this about this picture, I like that about that picture. Some designs are all t-shirts touching each other like this, where the actual harvested fabric is right up against it. Other designs have some of the harvested fabric and have regular fabric incorporated. It can be on a grid, it can be free pieced like this, it can be in a more ornate design. So maybe your person's favorite color is purple, and you want to incorporate some t-shirts and some regular purple fabric in a design. That's not all just shirt against shirt against shirt. Do you want it to be neat and orderly? Do you like it to be a little crazy and artful and off the wall? So those are all things that that person would like to know when they go into it, to see when they're making all these decisions about how to bring your quilt together. That'll give them kind of a guide. So at the end of the day, you're happy with what you get. The other thing, for me, those t-shirts or articles of clothing should be uncut. Because for me, it's very important that I'm able to stabilize them first and then cut. And again, if you've already cut things, I'm sort of locked in to certain decisions. So if you want it a certain way and you've already cut it, I'm kind of stuck. So I want your fabrics intact as much as possible. The other thing I want is for them to be clean. And I mean clean, free from additives, because of the fusing process. I don't want any kind of fabric softener, any kind of those dots that you add and put fragrance into your laundry. So like clean, not with a bunch of residues on there. And also, I gotta work with this and I gotta store this with not just your items, but all my other customers' items. So if there's a scent, I can't really have an odor permeating my sewing studio. So a lot of these items, either because they've been in storage or because they're sports jerseys, are gonna have a little bit of a residual. And also, fabric softener is a big part of why your polyester jerseys and workout gear is gonna retain more of that biofilm, which is like you wash it and it smells okay, and then you put it on and you're like you can tell it's workout gear. Fabric softener is a big culprit in that. and that is called biofilm. If you put that into the internet, you will find lots of laundry detergents which specifically are like, you know how you put clarifying shampoo in your hair to get rid of the excess residue of styling products and conditioners and whatever that can start to weigh down your hair? You have the same thing on your clothing, because cotton is very much like hair. And so you can have, it's like the clarifying shampoo of the detergent world that will remove the residue of fabric softener, biofilm, any kind of goodies that are hanging out, musty old fabric smell. And that kind of circles back. If you've already cut your fabric, it's not going to be stable to wash. If the fabric is uncut, it's still in a t-shirt and a finished garment, that can be washed either by you or the person doing your quilt. So again, ask them how they want that to be presented. So for me, uncut, washed, no residues, no fabric softeners, and please not funky. Please not funky. Okay, so in summation, the top 5 things that I, as a memory quilt maker, would love for you to know when you're ordering a memory quilt. 1, have an idea of what you want as far as size/budget. Those are kind of the same, because the biggest factor that changes the price of a quilt is the size of a quilt. Number 2, have an idea of what you want as far as the design, even if that's a couple of reference photos from the internet of, oh, I kind of like this, I kind of like that, this color is cool, whatever, to give us an idea. Do you want it free and funky? Do you want it orderly on a grid with a sashing around each one? So if you've looked at a few pictures, and you can send me a photo that says, love this, hate that, somewhere in between, boop, done. Number 3, uncut please. If your garments could be intact, that would be fantastic. Number 4, no residues, which means even if they've been washed, none of the little scent beads that go in there, none of the fabric softener that leaves an oily coating on the fibers, so they cannot be fused as well. The way we put the stabilizer on the back of the garment fabric doesn't stick. And number 5, please don't send me funky garments. Please let them be clean. If you have to use a bioresidue reducing detergent, or just wash them like you normally do, please don't send me funky garments. All right, have a great weekend. Love you, bye. And I really think that's it. I'm gonna have to think of 2 more to make it top 5. We'll pause the video and come back when I think of the other 2. All right, we're gonna reshoot it to make it into 5.